Hi everybody, it's James at Cryptoconsh, and today I want to look at a new project on the Cosmos called Dig. I've been waiting a while to do this to see what kind of developments they come up with. So what I'm going to break down for you today is their media following, details of their airdrop, they're incredibly hard to find and soon to be changed Tokenomics. Then I'm going to have a quick look at the Dig light paper and what they want to do, and my final thoughts. And if I do make a dig at Dig, you're welcome to add a cheeky bit of engagement in the comments down below. I'll definitely be melding in my personal thoughts with the analysis, to take it as you bloody will, my lovely cosmonauts. Alright, so let's get bloody into it. As we can see, they've been around 9 months and they have around 8,159 followers. Not bad. Surprisingly, their Telegram has actually more, with 14,000 followers. Apparently they do have a Discord, but when you click the link on the website, it comes up with invalid invite. Actually, I did report this to them 2 months ago and it still hasn't changed. Alright, moving forward. A quick look at their airdrop details. So what we can see here based on their GitHub is an airdrop to different kinds of holders. So if you were invested on DFY on the Binance Smart Chain, you would receive either 1-to-1 on the Cosmos of Dig, or you would receive a ratio of 1.5-to-1 for each DFY token you had locked up. Considering how well DeFi for You has done since its initial offering, this must indeed be a welcome addition to those that were invested. So the same team members are involved in this. We'll get to that later. So not only this, Blurt coin holders, personally I've not heard of Blurt coin, but Jacob Gadakian is involved, a very well-known developer on the Cosmos. And finally, Ion coin holders were entitled to an airdrop. Another site, DeFi for You, contradicts this information a little bit and states that Tron users will also be entitled, and does not mention anything about Ion. So yeah, the evidence is both contradictory and confusing, to the point where it's not even on the Reddit master airdrop thread. And a very important question, when snapshot, bro? Well, it looks like the snapshot was taken last year. When the airdrop cometh to change man's life, bro? Well, the claim date was December the 14th, according to Cosmos Pug. So as you can see, patchy details at best. Even doing a search for airdrop on their Twitter yields very little results. Moving forward, Tokenomics. These were quite hard to find and not published in the light paper. These Tokenomics are from a very old post on their Telegram. Interestingly, the Tokenomics and the light paper were not released, yet this was still voted into osmosis for having liquidity pool rewards. More on that later. For this, I need a sip of my cold brew coffee that looks like whiskey. And no, that's not a paid advert. We can see that the DFY airdrop was actually a massive proportion of the Dig tokens. Even though it's vested for 24 months, we're looking at 38%. Wow. So anyone invested in DFY has got pretty lucky here. Blur airdrop was 2.5. And it looks like Ion isn't on the list at all. Oh, man, the misinformation about this stuff. We have quite a lot of rewards here for validators, which gives them an incentive to certainly be validators for Dig, and probably an incentive to vote them in. So then 5% for the dev team, which is also vested, which is good. I have it on good authority. Jacob himself said it would be a 5-year vesting. 13.72%, but also late entry pre-sale here. So I initially thought this figure was low, but if the initial investors are the same as the late entry investors, we could be looking at 25% voting power. So they'll definitely have to keep their eye on that. With other partnerships and liquidity providers as well, they've got to make sure these aren't all the same people, because we could be looking at around 40% voting power, which is almost dominant. All right, Dig chain details. Here they are on the Cosmos. We can see that they have been added to osmosis. We can see here very clearly that one atom will get you 8,372 Dig. We can see from its inception, Dig has been on a short run to the bottom. Now let's have a look at their website and their purpose. So what Dig essentially aims to do is tokenize real estate on the Cosmos. Now, tokenization of real estate is actually a really cool concept. Me and you can put in $1 and earn $1 of a multi-million-dollar property in America, or Germany, or France. Looking at their initial market penetration, they're looking at the UK, Thailand, the British Virgin Islands, and Vietnam. So 5 places to begin with. As we know at the moment, there's a lot of organizations trying to tokenize property, and the law in nearly every country has not caught up with this yet. It's an incredibly new space that needs to be dealt with using tact, people that have experience in the field, and getting the right regulators on board. And this is why it has to be broken down into different areas. Completely understandable. Now, I will say this as a personal opinion. Tokenization of assets is the future, without a shadow of a doubt. Buying a fraction of a property 24 hours a day and selling it 24 hours a day based on its current value, absolutely exceptional. Of course, there's lots of questions that come from that. Like, how often will you measure the value and how much will that cost? We'll get into that later. Now, it is important they are compliant and they are working towards that. And they want to use smart contracts, which is great, of course. Smart contracts minimize the needs for people, make processes quick, efficient, and cheap if they are run well. We know that Cosm recently faced an exploit, and hopefully that has been resolved now, as we saw Juno was down for a little bit. Now, I have looked through their entire light paper. We can see that the real estate market is a massive market. We all understand that. We can see they want to tokenize it. That makes perfect sense to me. There's hundreds of other companies trying to do this. And they do this via the form of NFTs. They have a timeline which they haven't quite kept up with yet, because they have not onboarded any property in Q1. However, what they have done is begun proceedings in the British Virgin Islands for a regulatory sandbox allowing for Dig chain to be operational. So they have the funding for that now, it's passed. But it does not express the requirements, the compliance, or any other details regarding this. Just because it's passed doesn't mean it's happening yet. So overall, this light paper was incredibly simple. And to be honest, it gives me more questions than there are answers. And I have looked at quite a lot of property tokenization organizations. And the first red flag for me is not answering any of these questions. Here are some of the questions that I have. Which property assets will be chosen and why? Will a person be employed to assess the potential future value of these assets? If so, how much will they get? Who takes a cut on these sales? How much of a cut will the agent take? How much of a cut will Dig take? How often will the property value be assessed? What will the voting procedure be like? Is it only people that own the tokenized assets that can vote? If so, can they vote to sell it? Can they vote to rent it out? If this tokenized property is rented out, how will the rent be distributed? Who will take a cut from that? Who will be paid to run these calculations? What is their step-by-step plan to enact compliance? Because compliance is not easy. What regulators do they intend to contact? As you can see, I've got more questions than I do answers. And other organizations actually display how this works on a technical level in their white paper. This has not been done for Dig. And for me, that's imperative for understanding and comfortability in an investment. So another issue is they're behind in their roadmap. We haven't seen any property onboarded yet. Now, it is claimed by the CEO. We filmed this video in an office without a very good microphone, so it's very hard to hear what he's saying. It is claimed that COVID over the last 3 months has stopped them from being able to contact government officials in Vietnam. I personally know that Vietnam embraces foreign businesses, which is a great thing, but I also have friends doing business over there, and they often talk to government officials over Skype. Now, I don't understand why over 3 months that's not been possible, which for me is another red flag. They are claiming that it's long-term. I'm a long-term person, don't get me wrong, but I personally feel things should be moving a bit faster. Another flag for me is, of course, the consistent sell-offs, even though it's vested for 2 years. I know that we can say the entire market is down, but a lot of coins have not dropped in value this much. However, if you believe in the project, it's a very good opportunity to purchase right now. Another huge red flag that I saw is the general sentiment on both Reddit and Telegram. There are rumors of rug pulls and people complaining about getting banned for their honest opinions, as we can see here. There are some serious legitimate concerns raised in the group that need to be addressed rather than banning the people. Not only this, the Reddit sentiment is heavily negative, where people got stressed about the pools being incentivized without it actually having a legitimate white paper or tokenomics released. If we look at the vote for incentivizing this, we can see that it was a 53% yes with 41% abstaining. If we look at who voted yes, we can see quite a few top validators voted yes for it. Now, it's understandable why validators would vote yes, and that's because they can expand their repertoire and skill set and start validating for a new project on the Cosmos. It might also just be that they believe in this project, but opposed to this validator sentiment is Reddit sentiment, and I'll make the link to that down below. And this comment here is quite pertinent because it explains that the website is really underdeveloped. Let's have a quick look and I'll explain why. As you saw before, when I clicked on Discord, it didn't work even after reporting. You click on updates, it goes straight to their Twitter. Click on docs, it just goes to a draft collaboration. So even after all this time, it's still heavily underdeveloped. Even if there may be a lot moving behind the scenes, there's not a lot going on at the front. Also, a very important point. This is the founders' videos. As you can see, there's very few views for it. But not only that, comments are turned off. Having comments turned off concerns me because it's relatively insincere. And I will never be bloody turning my comments off. I'm happy for you to say, James, you're a bloody cretin. This is going to be the best project in the world. Please write what you think. Having comments turned off only adds to the red flags for me. And the final red flag is I did send a message to William Gray, who was previously listed on the Dig website as a marketing manager, and I got no response. These are the kind of things you worry about, right? As a marketing manager, you expect a response, but it looks like he is also heavily focused on the Binance Smart Chain side of things. And if you've got teams that are divided between two platforms, are we really getting the best out of them? All right, so conclusions about Dig. I hope I'm completely wrong, guys. I hope my red flags turn into flags of gold. I have heard that the team's tokens are going to be changed to 5-year vesting tokens, which is definitely a positive. It means that they have to be involved for 5 years. I'm not sure that voting this into osmosis was wise, because it did not have a strong white paper or good tokenomics or a good breakdown of actually what the organization wants to do. And even 3 or 4 months later, there still is not a good breakdown of what they want to do. Yes, I understand these things take time, but the breakdown shouldn't. The fundamentals are not there for me. So I hope we're not wasting precious Osmo. I mean, this Osmo could actually be used to legitimize it, to pay people to spread this out, enhance the white paper. It could be just the boost that DigChain need. I really hope they get back on track and come up with something more substantial soon. It's great having a legal entity in the British Virgin Islands, but I could set up a legal entity in the UK for £20 immediately, so that's the start. It's about going through the necessary steps and red tape by getting the regulatory framework on side. And that's what I want to see updates with. I want them to enable free speech on their public platforms. From a marketing aspect, I think that's very important. Like I said, they are changing the tokenomics to leave it more vested. This actual idea is exceptional. It will take off tokenization of property. I personally have no doubt about that. And there's lots of firms competing in the space. There's only one firm on the Cosmos doing it right now. Even though they say it's going to take a long time, yes, I understand and agree with that. There is a lot that needs to be done, and I'm not seeing a lot happening. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the project so far. I won't be investing yet until I see something solid, substantial. I want to see a platform. Look at Comdex. They have an exceptional platform for investing in sea gold and sea silver. I want to see a detailed breakdown of their tokenization process and their governance process for each property. And I want to see more of what's happening on the ground. All this needs to happen for me to have some comfortability in the project. I understand my views can stir people up both ways, and like I said, I'm open to all of your opinions, left and right. So let me know if you think I've got the intellectual fortitude of a potato, and let me know your reasons and your logic. I'm definitely open on this debate. As Keynes once said, when the facts change, sir, I change my mind. What do you do? Alright guys, this was a really fun one for me today. I really missed taking the time to break down projects. I love this part of my crypto life. So yeah, that's it for me, James of Cryptoconsh. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you again.